Welcome back to Cannes. This segment is sponsored by TravelSpan Vacations. In Montego Bay, St. James, the police among stakeholders who are raising concerns over the sharp rise in the incidence of children selling goods on the bustling streets of Montego Bay in what is said to be a flagrant breach of the country's child labor law. Head of the police area 1 acting ACP Warren Clark told the Observer West by telephone that the police will step up their campaign against the perpetrators as well as their parents. The High Command and Area Command are very firmly against this practice, and I intend to get the police at the parish level to pay attention to this practice, Clark said. Yesterday, we, also the Police High Command, were at the community forum where the issue came up that the children were not only selling in the streets, but were a nuisance to commuters at stoplights, he added. The issue also came into sharp focus during this week's monthly sitting of the St. James Parish Council's Civic and Communities Affairs Committee. Chairman of the committee and councillor for the Montego Bay South Division, Suzette Brown, said the vexed issue required urgent intervention. We are concerned with the seeming increase in the number of children on the streets of the city peddling wares or doing odd jobs even at times when it should be at school hours, in clear breach of the child labor law, she lamented. The chairman pointed out that these working children can be seen at all hours of the day throughout the city, some even accompanied by their parents who are working as well. I believe that the relevant authorities, especially the Child Development Agency and the police, should do more to address the issue, which is clearly being ignored. Councillor Brown's position was fully endorsed by her fellow colleague councillors Stian Graham, Knowles King, and Stanley Harris. The locations frequented by these working children were identified as Harbor Street in downtown Montego Bay, Howard Cook Boulevard, and the intersection of Gloucester Avenue, Fairview Shopping Center, and Barnett Street. The Child Development Agency's acting regional manager, Dulia Wesley, who provides monthly stakeholder updates at a civic and community affairs meeting, said the agency was aware that the problem of working children in the city was worsening and said her agency was working with law enforcement personnel to stem the problem. The CDA, through a multi-agency approach, is working with the police to reduce the number of children on the streets and in police lockups. We are asking for the support of citizens, and we are also encouraging parents to take responsibility for their children, Wesley said. However, Brown is demanding more. She argued that the relevant agencies conduct the risque research to determine the true nature of the problem and devise strategies to protect children. The recent spike in violent criminal activity has forced the local police to adjust their strategies in a valiant attempt to curb the situation. This was disclosed by Commissioner of Police Leroy Brumel at a press conference yesterday at police headquarters. During the press conference, he tried to explain the force's response to the country's crime scenario. The press conference came mere hours after the local media reported that the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce and Industry had expressed alarm, and the main opposition, a Partnership for National Unity, had expressed horror over recent criminal activities that have left several persons dead. The commissioner assured that the force has in place various strategies in the fight against crime and has been grappling with the situation to ensure the maintenance of public safety and security in keeping with its mandate. Brumel, however, noted that while the force shares the concern being expressed, particularly by the business community, the overall crime situation is not at level as the perception being outlined in sections of the media. But his position does not reflect the harsh reality. Within the past 2 weeks, the death toll of persons killed during armed robberies is a cause for concern. Brumell outlined some positive scenarios that go to the credit of the organization. For the year so far, we have recovered 49 firearms that comprise 19 revolvers, 18 shotguns, 10 pistols, 1 submachine gun, and 1 rifle. Significantly, while members of the business community are clamoring for permission to carry firearms, the police have reported that so far for the year, they have recorded the loss of 20 licensed firearms, either due to negligence or they were taken away during armed confrontations. The commissioner noted that the police force is doing its utmost to deal with the situation with the support of community policing groups and other stakeholders, including private security concerns, through an arrangement with the Guyana Association of Private Security Organizations. But according to Crime Chief Mr. Prasad, this arrangement with the private security services needs to be modified. He explained that coming out of the structured meetings between the police of GASPO, there were arrangements for collaboration on the front line for both sides. According to the crime chief under the Guyana Police Force strategic plan, partnership is one of the main priorities. With this in mind, the Commissioner Brumell took the opportunity yesterday to urge members of the business community to place greater focus on their own security arrangements, including the movement of cash. According to the Commissioner, there are far too many instances when victims refuse to come forward to identify criminals despite systems put in place to instill confidence. He even mentioned a recent case in which a victim refused to cooperate with the police because of professional approach taken by ranks in the apprehension of criminal suspects. Turks and Caicos Islands Integrity Commission reported on Wednesday on the outcome of its investigations into allegations of the Code of Conduct by Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing and Minister Don Hugh Gardiner. The Commission carried out its investigations in accordance with Section 102 of the Constitution and Section 58A of the Integrity Commission Ordinance. The following is the summary of the allegations and the Commission's findings and conclusions in relation to the allegations. A. Allegation against Premier Dr. Rufus Ewing. The substance of the allegation was that Ewing abused his powers and Premier and broke the laws and airport security regulations in the course of boarding a domestic flight from the Grand Turk on May 28, 2013. Commissioners found that the Premier did not abuse his powers and did not break any laws or airport security regulations as alleged, and were accordingly satisfied that the Premier did not contravene the conduct of conduct. Allegation against Minister Don Hugh Gardiner. The substance of the allegation was that his conduct at the incident involving the discharge of firearm at Grace Bay in the early hours of March 31, 2013, fell short of the highest standards of integrity, honesty, and propriety expected of a minister of the government. The commissioners found that there were no reasonable and probable grounds to believe that the alleged conduct of Gardiner derogated from or fell short of the highest standards of integrity, honesty, and propriety expected of a minister of government. Accordingly, the commissioners were satisfied that Gardiner did not contravene the Code of Conduct. In ordinance with the requirement of Section 58C of the ordinance, the Commission has prepared written reports of these investigations containing its findings and conclusions. These reports have been delivered to the relevant substitutory recipients, including the acting governor and the Speaker of the House of Assembly. Poor kitchen conditions, absence of updated food badges, dead roaches, smoking of cigarettes in the food preparation area, faulty layout, and improper storage of food were among some of the violations. The Public Health Department of the San Fernando City Corporation was forced to temporarily close 3 restaurants in Marabella today as part of an ongoing exercise. Accompanied by San Fernando Mayor Dr. Navi Muradali, the public health inspectors led by Mr. Alexander Ramnath, the police and city police visited 7 restaurants in the Marabella area of the city. Poor kitchen conditions, absence of updated food badges, dead cockroaches, smoking of cigarettes in food preparation area, faulty layout, and improper storage of food were among some of the violations. According to Mayor Maradali, the food confiscated was not even fit for the homeless. He warned the owners of the restaurants that the public health department would spare no effort in keeping them closed as long as it takes to correct the violations. Mayor Muradali added that the health and safety of the public is of utmost priority of the city, and the office of the mayor would work with all to ensure our food preparation and handling is first class. The 3 restaurants temporarily closed were Juan's Chinese Restaurant in Vista Bella and Hap Rap Chinese Restaurant in Chow Chow Chinese Restaurant in Marabella. They were given until Monday to correct the violations or else face further closure. You are watching Caribbean Affiliate News. Stay tuned.
Excuse me, if you see me smiling, that's 'cause I'm chilling on Total Caribbean Network. This your boy Wyclef Jean, man, and I'm chillin', man. Total Caribbean Network. Man, I love their style. Whoa, 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 whoa.